Hello there, guys. Hopefully you enjoy the new lighting. Well, kind of new lighting. More like something I jerry-rigged up. Anyway, let's take a trip back to 2006. Back then, I was about 17 years old, depending on what time of the year you ask. And I believe at the time I was actually 16, because it was before my birthday. But in the summer of 2006, I kind of had some interesting things. To begin with, I had one of these little iPods, which is kind of why I'm kind of nostalgic about these iPods, because I had a 30 gig iPod 5th gen. And this one does still actually work, it just has to boot up. But I had a 30 gig iPod 5th gen that I actually traded my then laptop for, because I had a Toshiba Tecra M2 at the time that was falling to pieces, that was actually stolen, believe it or not. A friend of mine stole it and gave it to me because he couldn't get the BIOS password off of it, and I actually took it straight to Toshiba and said, hey, this was stolen, like, what do I do with it? And they were like, well, the person who previously owned that laptop, they had, theft protection and such on it. So they already got a replacement laptop, and basically they were like, since you came forth to us and turned it in, like, we'll remove the password for you, and, we'll just let you have it for being awesome people and actually trying to return to its rightful owner. So I had that, and I traded it for this because, well, this one's not the same one, but I traded it for this because it was falling to pieces, and I really wanted an iPod anyway. I didn't have much use for a laptop at the time. On top of that, that thing overheated like crazy, and it was a nuisance to have around. And it was missing a key off the keyboard, and I mean, by missing, I mean completely missing the key. So trying to type on it was annoying. So I traded that off and had this, and it's kind of weird because it seems like this year I'm getting some stuff back that I had back in 2006 when I was entering my last year of high school. And it was kind of funny because it reminds me of the days when I was still able to actually screw around and have fun. Because as soon as senior year began, everything just went right to shit, and I had to actually buckle down and, I guess, pass high school, even though if I really were to go at it again, I would honestly fail, because the public school system out here in the United States is all sorts of fucked, but that's a rant for another day. Anyway, this video is going to be about my one Christmas present that I got that I believe is worth actually sharing on YouTube. And it's something that is kind of near and dear to my heart, because I had one of these, and I replaced it with the bigger version of it, because we'll get into that in a minute. Then, down the line, I got the newer version, and it was crap. But it is this, a DS Lite in black. I've actually got a game going, but I did save, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut that off. This is actually, I had one of these in white, and it was the first DS I've ever had. I got it in 2006. It was actually a birthday gift. And it was launched in 2006. I got one right as they launched, pretty much. And this is the best DS I think was ever made, because the DSi, it brought a lot of features that nobody cares about. I mean, it did bring compatibility with SD cards, and you can just, take it and put it in the side here. But other than that, I mean, there wasn't really much to the DSi. And the DSi was a pile of garbage, in my opinion. The battery life absolutely sucked, really bad. Really, the DSi marked where Nintendo seemed to stop caring about battery life. Because the 3DS after it was garbage in battery life too. It still is, as far as I can recall. This thing, as far as I remember, can go up to 10 plus hours on a single charge, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, this is the best DS ever made, I feel, because it's nice and clicky. You've got your Game Boy Advance compatibility, And this is actually why I ended up with the big DS after this one, because what ended up happening is I actually had a ton of Game Boy games I wanted to play. And the Game Boy games, I don't have my sole Game Boy Advance game anywhere near here, unfortunately, but they stick out a little bit, about that much, I would say. So it's kind of awkward when you're holding the DS to feel that if you hold it differently, or if you hold it like this, if you're playing like Brain Age or something. So it's a bit awkward. That's why I just decided to offload it and get a big DS, because I was like, hey, this thing is cooler. But this isn't just a video about a DS. It also came with some nifty little gifts. This little guy came with it. It is an R4 Revolution, not an R4i, unfortunately, but you know what, it works with the DS, and I don't care. It comes with a 2 gig micro SD. It looks to be a SanDisk knockoff. I'm not sure. If you want to take a look, I'm trying to align it with the camera. The kerning just seems off, or maybe it's just, you know, a B-class part and it has Chinese writing on the back. Wonder what's under that, if anything. Let's see. The best way would be to just plug it into a computer and see what it reports as the drive provider. Huh. It's a warranty void sticker. Why would you put one of those on the micro SD card? It's not like you can open them up reversibly. Anyway, that's pretty much that. The R4 does work, and the only thing I'm really gutted about in this case is that it can't load Game Boy Advance ROMs. Because there was a whole shit ton of games on Game Boy Advance I really want to play. I really want to get a flash cart for a Game Boy Advance. The problem is they are stupidly expensive right now. Because they're not easy to find. And the ones that you do find are not very cheap. Compare and contrast to the Ace Card 2i that I got from my old DSi. That thing ran me about 20 bucks. And yeah, I miss that thing dearly. So let's go ahead and fire it on up and just show you. I'm going to pull that card out. It does boot to a normal DS screen here, which is kind of necessary because you want to be able to adjust your brightness. I believe you do need your stylus for this. Adjust your settings. Cancel. And we do have an alarm clock here. I actually did use that after I graduated high school many times. Can customize your settings, and then here's your touch calibration, but we already did that, so I don't really need to. It has to shut down every time you exit settings, which is kind of weird. This is before the time when you could just hit a home button and be back at the main menu. You got your download play, which was a thing back then. Let's actually zoom in. You got download play, again, was a thing back in the day, so you only had to have one copy of the game and all your friends could play with you. And then you got PictoChat, which is exactly as it says. And you can type things and they appear on the top screen in the chat room that you're in. I can't draw for the life of me, I don't care. But that's PictoChat and such like that. And if we want to get back out of here, we have to turn the DS off. Turn it back on. Again, this was 10 years ago though, so I guess I can't fault them very much. At least it has an OS it can boot into when there's no card in. So let's go ahead and boot the card. And it just loads. And you get a calendar up there. This is not a DSi XL. Though, that makes me think that this thing will work on a DSi. I'm not exactly 100% certain on that. But on this, mostly I've got a bunch of games Well, actually not a bunch. I got very few games on here because these are all the games that I actually... I'll talk about that in a second, but these are all games I once had. To kind of explain, these ones are all came on it. But Final Fantasy IV was a game that I wanted to play for quite a long time, and I actually had on my old DSi. The problem is the DSi got jacked by my ex-girlfriend at the time, and her boyfriend made off with my copy of it, and unfortunately it went out of print. So finding a spare replacement copy was not easy, and in fact I just gave up on it entirely. Chrono Trigger is a game I wanted to play, but I couldn't find a copy anywhere also at the time that I wanted to try this. Soul Silver was a game I owned and played a little bit into, but didn't really get too much into it. And Black, another one that I owned and never really got into it. I had two DSi's, actually, and both of them died. Both of them died. Not died as in completely died, but the DSi's have a problem with the shoulder buttons eventually giving out and failing, and I just got tired of it. One of my friends actually gave me his DSi back in 2011, and I used it, and the shoulder button started giving out again, so at that point I just decided to sell it on before it completely died. Gave it to someone who knew what they were doing, said, hey, if you fix it, I'll sell it to you for cheap. If you can fix it, you can have it, kind of thing. So they did, and really the only problem this DSi has, or this DS Lite, I'm gonna get those confused. These DS Lites have a problem with the hinge cracking, but this one looks to be in pristine shape as far as that is concerned. I do not see any hint of cracks. The only damage I see is this little scuff up here, but that's quite amazing. Because I had a cobalt blue DSi, actually. No, I had crimson red DS Lite back in 2007. It was bought for me as a birthday gift from my then girlfriend, who then decided to turn around and sell it under my nose because she was hard up for money. Yeah, I had some fun ones back then. Anyway, let's go ahead and have some fun with this a little bit because I kind of want to see what makes this thing tick a little bit. And I've never actually taken one of these apart. I'm not taking apart the DS Lite just yet. I may do that at some point in the future. I kind of want to see what's inside these because you can kind of see the card edge connector in there. So we're going to go ahead and just pull this screw off. And that actually slides forward. And there you go. That's all that's in there. Is just a loop-back card edge connector. As you can see, they're all connected to each other if you follow the traces. Which I'm guessing, if the circuit board wants to come out, that's cool too. What I'm guessing is this thing tells the DS that something is indeed in there, or the slot blank is in there, but also nothing is in there. So let's go ahead and just put that back in place. If I can. Should just click right in place. And click. And it's down. So, the other thing I want to look at in this video before we, if I can find it, go over the other thing I got with this DS. And I apologize again if I'm saying 3DS or DSi. It's like, Nintendo has so many of these damn things that it's hard for me to tell anymore. But I want to look at the battery because, again, this is a 10-year-old piece of equipment. And I want to know, I want to have a look at the battery. I mean, it holds a good charge. I've been using it off the charger. And the battery life is every bit as good as I remember it being. So I do know that the battery is good, as far as I know. Here's the battery. Do you feel the pull tab up there? Unfortunately, my nails are not very long right now. this actually feels like a good battery. I do feel it's very, very, like this is, I can feel the actual battery here, but it's flanked by plastic all around. Good on Nintendo. These days with exploding batteries, because you just put a lithium polymer pack in there and any little thing can rupture it. Oy. Anyway. So this is a 1000 milliamp hour 3.7 volts. Remember when that was like enough? I do. Let's go ahead and put this all back together. And it's probably going to forget the time and date, but whatever. Funny thing is I actually started playing the flashcards games before I fired it up. Turns out nobody even set this thing up yet, so the touchscreen was very out of alignment. And I set the time and date properly, and the Pokemon Black thought I jumped forward 16 years. Like, trainer since 2000. Actually, I can load that up real quick and show you. I think it remembers what date it is. Hopefully it does. No, it doesn't. So we're going to have to go pop that out and set the date. I do believe it remembers user information at least. Oh no, it doesn't remember anything. Oh wow, it wipes the memory entirely. Holy balls. So I guess we're gonna go through a first time setup here. No. Confirm, yes. Favorite color, blue. It is currently December 26th. Nice to know it goes up to $20.99. 2016, confirm. Hour and minute. So it's 17. 49, but I'm just going to say 50 in this case. Okay. I don't know how to count military time, so I had to double check my workbook there. And birthday, I will do that off camera. You must restart your system for these settings to take effect. Okay, now we can actually boot the system into the card. And now it's working just fine. The OS, unfortunately, isn't actually touch aware. Oh, no, wait, yeah, it is. It's crappy though, so I just like to use my D-pad to do this. So let's load black version, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about here. And you can see me back there. Give you guys some sound. No. Yes. It's not like it's gonna matter, the servers are shut down. And we are now in winter. It is still shockingly daytime, according to the game. But if we go to my trainer card here, I'm trying to see. And you can see where I had some fun with the thing. But you can see, adventure started the 13th of January 2000. So this thing thinks literally I am 16 years old here. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and shut that down, because I think we've seen enough of this thing to last an entire 10 more years. But there is one more thing I want to show you that it was pretty cool, that I didn't know what it was until it was explained to me what it is. And I'll be right back with it. So unfortunately I couldn't find it, because I don't know where I put it. But the thing that I got is a little... It kind of is a little adapter. It basically is a ROM dumper for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy games. And I don't think it'll work with the DS, but I do have a piece of hardware that it will work with, I believe, and it is this little guy here that I wanted to quickly bring out and show off, because this thing actually does work. If I can get it to turn on here. This is a crappy front-lit model, unfortunately, as you can see. But, I mean, it does work, and I do bring it out every so often just to poke around at it. I should probably check on the battery. It's a battery. This thing. Does my thing not want to fit? There it goes. Check on the battery real quick. While we're on video here. It is an original battery. Still not swelling up despite its age. So very quickly I will also show off the problem with the Game Boy Advance games sticking out on this. As you can see, they stick out. And we'll see if this slot works real quick. I think we can load into it directly from the R4. Yes. Or it could just go completely screwy on me. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Pop the card out. There we go, we've got Game Boy Advance capability. Anyway, it's pretty much that for this little thing. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later.